Greetings. Welcome back to the show. You're now listening to N21FM, a Pokemon podcast. I'm your host, Glenn, joined, as always, by my wonderful co-host, Johnny. And we're joined in the studio today by another friend of the show, Brian. Johnny, how are you? Brian, we'll be back to you in just a moment. But Johnny, how's your week been?
Week's been good. It's been busy. It's been a busy work week. Yeah, just kind of going through the motions this week. So a little bit of a slow one, I guess, in that regard, but you know, not overly terrible, I suppose. I've been able to just kind of take it easier this week.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Brian, it's good to have you back on the show. How's your week been, buddy? It's good to see you.
Good, thank you. Likewise, it has been insanely busy, but that's a good problem to have. We've got a lot of stuff coming down the pipes, a lot of cool stuff I'm working on. And yeah, of course, dealing with life as a dad. So you may see a cameo from a little munchkin walking around here in a bit. But yeah, aside from that, it's been good. It's always good to see you both, you two, Johnny. And, we're here.
Outstanding. Yeah. I've had an interesting week. Actually, a rather sad weekend, to be fair. My wife is sick right now. She's actually just off screen on the couch. She's ill at the moment. But she's on the mend. And then today I actually had to have my last brunch at my favorite brunch spot with my best friend, Zach. By the way, he is going to be joining me for a bonus episode. He's playing his first Pokemon game right now in Emerald. And so I'm going to interview him and get his thoughts on it very soon on Patreon. But we have a brunch spot that we frequent that it had its last weekend in business this weekend. And
oh no.
It is, so we got our usual, we got some chicken and waffles. Shout out to Village Corner Comfort Kitchen in Kannapolis. You will be missed dearly. But other than that, it's been a good week.
Yeah.
All right. It's good to be here with you both. N21FM, a Pokemon podcast. Patreon. This is actually, hold on, before we get to that, this is episode 54. That is crazy. Which is astonishing because we're 3 seasons deep, but 54 is only like 1 year's worth of weekly episodes. So
yeah.
I don't know. We've taken our fair share of breaks, and I think that's fine.
No, it's absolutely fun.
All right. Patreon.com/terminalcreative. $1 a month gets you early access to the show, access to our bonus show, N21 Plus, and the RSS feed. I'll want your input to know how that's working out because it's a new feature that I'm still quite figuring out the kinks of. So let me know if you have any trouble with that over on Patreon. $5 a month gets you all of those bonus benefits as well as an audience participation feed where every month we post a question feed and you are welcome to have your questions read on the show. That you post in the thread. And then $10 a month is a producer credit where you'll get your name read at the end of the show. We've had some cool stuff. We're actually about to post our second ever Boozin' Battle. I have to review the footage because when we were actually recording it, it was pretty unlistenable. My Wi-Fi was tweaking out. So who's to say how that's going to turn out? But we'll have to see.
Fantastic. It'll be great.
Yeah. A couple quick lines of housekeeping before we kind of get into the meat and potatoes. I'm really excited to get into these topics. But I'm working currently with an independent artist on a new logo for the show. Very excited about that. So you're going to see a change of scenery in the near future. Just a heads up. And then, of course, the YouTube channel here, Terminal Creative, is almost 100 subscribers. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you all for your kindness, your support. I appreciate it. Please continue to share the show with your friends who enjoy Pokemon and those who don't. You know, they deserve to be informed too, because we also, like we're gonna do today, talk about more than just Pokemon as a franchise. We're gonna get into some gaming industry stuff on the whole here in a moment. But we really don't have much. Kind of the whole episode is going to be about 2 main things, that being Pokemon Day 2026, which we'll get into later. But I wanted to really quickly, well, not quickly, but I want to use this time wisely because we've got Brian for a limited amount of time. Obviously, Bryan, you work in game development, and what we wanted to discuss today was actually the upcoming Gamefreak title, Beast of Reincarnation. This game was revealed in May of in the Xbox Game Showcase of May 2023, said to be coming out this summer. And on January 22nd, during the Xbox Developer Direct, Game Freak showed off a lot more of what the game is looking like. There's no current release date, but it's said sometime this summer. But what I started to read into some things about this game, just because when I see it, the first thing that came to my mind was, well, this game is gorgeous. It's truly stunning. It looks really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at Game Freak's catalog, almost all of it is Pokemon games.
Yeah.
There's a couple of niche other titles. What was that one? It was like Giga something.
Yeah, there's Giga Wrecker. There's Giga Wrecker.
That's actually like an 80s title.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It came out in 2019 though, which is awesome.
It's also like it is very fitting, I think, for like the 10s time period too, with like kind of the rise of like the indie title of sorts. It's a very indie title game, which is funny because it's coming from Game Freak.
Yeah, that thing is on the App Store, guaranteed.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it just sounds like it should be like, developed by like a small team and like, do the numbers, and I don't think it really did, and that's maybe showing.
I mean, a lot of the stuff is like Game Freak wanted to. They established a really small internal strike team to like do titles that branch out of that aren't Pokemon, right? Because they want to be a studio that doesn't just do Pokemon games, as lucrative as it is for the studio. But so they put together small strike teams, and then they internally pitch it to their higher ups, and then they pick whatever they want to make. I think another company that comes to mind that did something similar is CyberConnect, which is a co-developer that does stuff with Bandai. They're known for the Dot Hack series. Solar Roboto, they did that with Fuga, Melodies of Steel, which is a pretty interesting series. So similar vein.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, it piqued my mind as to like why we get games that are this beautiful from Game Freak, and then we get stuff which, as good as it does look in some portions, we get things that are kind of egregious, like the wall decals in Legends ZA, and just generally speaking, Pokemon games being known for not looking very good. They still can play well, they can perform well, depending on the title, but they're certainly not known to be very good looking. So my goal today was to kind of dig into it a little bit and find out why that might be. And the first thing I found is actually that this game, Beast of Reincarnation, is not being published by Nintendo, which is just the first layer. I'm not sure how much bearing that has on how the game will turn out and what the content will be and how it'll look. But it is being published by, well, I guess now they are Fictions. They used to be Private Division though, which is one of the publishing labels from Take-Two.
Yep.
So. Very interesting. Take-Two really like putting it's their indie publisher, is that right?
It is. Fictions is comprised of former Annapurna people. So, and Annapurna has a really high pedigree of titles under their purview. They don't greenlight just anything.
Interesting.
So, but like the titles like Armadas is one that Fiction is doing. I think they're publishing a Lego game.
Oh,
there's one more.
Yeah, Lego
like
Party.
Tales. Right? Yeah, there's also Tales of.
I'm on their Wikipedia right now.
Is it Tales of the Shire? I want to say.
I believe you're correct.
I think it's Tales of the Shire. They got a very small portfolio, but like
they had something to do with the Outer Worlds as well. Of course, Kerbal Space Program, Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey. Squad. Oh wait, hold on. No, just kidding. I lied. Squad is not the name of a game. That is who they. Never mind. I'm not sure. I forgot how to read for a second. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, they Fictions was created as a result of Take-Two. There's been Take-Two specifically is like many publishers not doing too hot, so they restructured a whole bunch of stuff, and that opens up. We're seeing this also with the Embracer Group, where they're kind of readjusting, is what I'll say.
Sure.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I'm really interested. First of all, I gave Johnny a little bit of homework, and Brian, I failed to thank you in our intro, but I wanted to thank you for hopping on such short notice. We were literally chatting minutes ago, and I told you what was going on because I had my questions for you, and then you were able to jump in. So I'm very grateful that you're here.
Yeah.
Did you watch the gameplay overview in the developer direct
for Beast of Reincarnation?
Yes.
Okay. It struck me. It was really, really good. I was watching it for Fable. Full disclosure.
Reasonable.
I'm a big Fable head. I had friends that worked at Lionhead for a long, long time.
Oh, nice.
Rest in peace. And so like near and dear to my heart. And then I'm like, oh yeah, Beast of Reincarnation. I like many people, it's like, oh yeah, Beast of Reincarnation is a thing because it starts with Game Freak's logo. All of their gameplay stuff and reveals start with the Game Freak logo, and without fail, everyone's like, oh god, I forgot Game Freak made games like
what
that aren't Pokemon. Like,
what do you mean?
Yeah. So
yeah. What were your thoughts just from between the actual reveal trailer, obviously months ago, and the gameplay overview? What were your main things you kind of got out of those?
I think it's gorgeous. Obviously, it is being made in Unreal Engine 5. That we know.
Which you can tell. You can look at it.
Well, they've announced it. Like that was on their announce too. But it also has been in development since 2020. So like it's been in the oven for 6 years now. It's had a very long dev cycle, which for Game Freak is unusual. And I think that is one thing that sets it apart from any other title that Game Freak has worked on.
Yeah.
This might be jumping ahead a little bit, so I apologize.
No, that's fine.
But Pokemon titles come out very often. Usually they only have 1 to 2, sometimes less year dev cycles, which for a AAA title, to the degree that Pokemon games have to go in terms of like game mechanics and attacks and data and assets and like the co-developers they gotta work with, like 2 years seems like a lot of time, but the amount, if you ever want to like get an idea of the scope of a project or a game, take a look at the credits. Just browse them. Take a look at all the co-developer studios that are there too, because working with co-developers is a very common way for AAA games to get across the finish line. These days, it's no longer like, oh, the studio hires up like 500 developers and like they make their game on that. No, it's usually a small core team of people, and then they hire co-development studios to get it across the finish line because they don't have to pay benefits for them. And usually it's a little bit more financially responsible for the budget of a game to do it that way. And it also keeps the co-devs in line. Like co-development studios can keep. I used to work for a co-developer in Lost Boys Interactive, and they, you would juggle multiple projects at a time, and that's how you kept the lights on. So like it's changed a lot. But anyway, to digress, one thing that I want to point out, and to the quality of the game, is like, yes, it's gorgeous. Yes, it's an Unreal Engine 5 game, but it also has had 6 years to cook.
Yeah.
So compared to like 2 or less that a normal Pokemon game has, putting aside the hardware limitations, that's a whole nother discussion topic that I would love to get into and have before on this show, actually, I think.
Yes.
But it's gorgeous. Like the game design's really good. I think the premise of the game is good, although it's kind of been done in different forms before. But it's got kind of a... There's something about it. I'd be interested to get y'all's thoughts. There's just something about it feels like this isn't your normal, like, Souls adjacent. I have a dog game, right? Like,
no, I totally agree.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that. So like, I don't feel crazy about this. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, the floor's yours. I want to know what y'all's thoughts are.
Yeah, Johnny, let's get you on the record. I want to hear your thoughts on this game as well.
So, one, didn't know that this game was in development since 2020. I was doing just a little bit of like quick refreshing stuff here to get this into the framework, because the first two games that popped into my head when watching this, like immediately, Sekiro, Nier Automata. The first two games that popped into my head immediately. And Sekiro released in 2019, Nier Automata released in 2017, and has had multiple re-releases with more content added on them. I believe what was it? One of the content re-releases for Nier. Oh, no, it wasn't a content re-release. It was like a DLC that later made into like Game of the Year edition stuff later in the same year or something like that, that basically revealed that the game, it adds like whole new storyline content to the game when you play through it in that aspect. So anyway, that's where my mind immediately went, because you see a person with a sword parrying stuff. You see robots in a sort of overgrown dystopian looking world, and like immediately like that just is like Sekiro's combat style with Nier's type of setting. But then, you know, obviously watching more of the trailer and more of the direct, you kind of get more of a sense of other things at play here with it. The dog companion, you know, adds a new layer. I'm almost feeling like, in a sense, especially with the dog, that they're pulling off. It's almost feels like pulling off of like Nintendo's roots with Okami, in a sense, or not Nintendo.
Ooh.
Sorry, it's Capcom. Actually, it's Capcom's roots with Okami, in a sense. It's obviously not like a one-to-one thing, but just the way that the wolf kind of reacts or acts and seems to move, and it's all just kind of like the vibes of it more than anything else. But those are like just some of the immediate things that like ran right through my head watching it.
Two games stick out in my mind: Fable 2 and Final Fantasy 16 are also games where you have a dog companion that's really like you can combo with them. They can do things in the world. Like it's interesting. It adds a new layer to what you can do. And plus, like, for Fable 2, the team that worked on that was really open, that like Peter Molyneux wanted the dog in Fable so that the player had something that they could get attached to. Yeah. And that would invest the player into the game more. I don't think that's what they're going for with Beast of Reincarnation, although that's kind of like a nice, neat little side effect, I guess, because people imprint on pets. Like, that's just how pets roll. Like, you know, you don't want anything bad to happen, and then if something, heaven forbid, does happen, like, you're just like, that's how you realize that you're invested. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, that dog is marketable. That is a plush waiting to happen.
I mean, animals in games work, dude. I was bawling my eyes out when the cat like sprained its paw in Stray. So like, and that cat's not even owned by anyone. You are the cat.
Spoilers for Stray, I guess.
It's literally the first 5 minutes. You're good. Play the game.
Oh man. Yeah, I totally agree with that. So my history with games that have dog companions is a little different. I played Fable 3. I've never played any of the other Fable titles. I'm told that is unfortunate. But I remember there being a dog in that game. I might be mistaken. But my other two most recent ones are actually Fallout 4, which I've been addicted to in recent history, and Call of Duty Ghosts. Which, I know I'm not beating the ball and gun gamer allegations at the moment.
No, you're good.
You should see my Steam history right now. But so like I can definitely testify that like dogs in the game do add that kind of thing, and they're a good gameplay. They're just a good way to add some texture to the way a game might play, right? So in my head, I think of even I literally just had this epiphany. There was a very low fidelity mobile game roguelike that my aforementioned best friend Zach mentioned to me. It's like on mobile, and there's different classes you can pick, and one of them was a ranger who had his whole like mechanic is that he has a dog that you can send off to do other stuff. And that's like a pretty common thing, because that's also in like some of the Borderlands games. You can have your pet do stuff when you don't have to like engage too much. It's a really good way to add texture to a play style and introduce new play styles. So I think that's really cool. I think that the green apocalypse type setting of this game looks gorgeous. I love the premise of like using the vines and vegetation to not only like travel but also in combat. It reminds me of actually that have you both watched Danny Phantom?
It's been a long time for me.
Do you remember there's a ghost named, I believe it's Overgrowth in Danny Phantom. It's like it's like an end game villain, but he's this crazy guy. First of all, he takes over Sam and that causes drama, but he's like this crazy Oh, hold on, I gotta turn on save search. Whoa. But he's like this guy made of a bunch of vines. He's this ghost compiled of literally just thousands of vines. It invokes that to me, as well as like the vine benders in Atla. And I think that's really a cool premise. It also invokes like Siva from Destiny. Which is just, I don't know, there's something about that's spicy to me. I like it. It looks cool. I'm interested in this game. I'll probably play it day one with Game Pass. But what I thought was really, really cool about it, and I apologize that I'm going kind of long, is sorry, I bumped my mic. The menus that you get to see when you're doing these slow motion attacks. It was described, I forget exactly how in the gameplay overview trailer, but like there are these ways of interacting with the blight that you have that give you some combat bonuses and just some cool stuff you can do, from like getting this giant plant to grow out of the ground that you can jump on and then jump off of for a big like drop attack, or these vines coming up out of the ground to do an attack for you. So I think that those are really cool stylistic choices. I think this game has some sauce that like recent Souls adjacent games might not have.
I mean, that's fair. Those are my first thoughts on it. I think it's really gorgeous. And I mostly kind of wanted to talk about what we think sets this game aside and where we think maybe, actually, full transparency, I kind of initially put this on here to dunk on Pokemon games. I think we're at the point now where that feels intellectually dishonest because we understand there's more at play. But I am curious about just like what your expectations are for maybe this game, and to bring it back to kind of the topic of this podcast is like, what do you think this will set as a precedent for like fan expectations from Gamefreak? Obviously, after seeing this, like, I feel like fewer and fewer fans will be happy with bad-looking Pokemon games.
I mean, okay. So I'm going to start off by maybe making some people mad.
Go for it. I love that.
In that, I think that people... I have always held this, even before I started working in the game industry, that people have way too high expectations of Pokemon games. Like, jumping from Sword and Shield was really eye-opening for me because it was a generational leap for the Pokemon franchise as a whole. I consider Sword and Shield to be, the last games of the franchise that were in the old style of game design for Pokemon.
Oh, interesting.
Right, where and the fact that it was on Switch and that it ran decently enough, memes aside about the wild areas, but like with the Dexit stuff and like people not really understanding, well, why can't we have every Pokemon that's ever been out? Well, there's costs associated with that in terms of like game design balance. There's, asset porting, even if the graphics are taken from like Sun and Moon, whatever, that's all in the past. So to start off with my response is that the expectations already are monumentally way too high for Pokemon games. Even Legends ZA, which is an amazing game, I want to say, like, memes aside about the walls and stuff, like, from a game design perspective, it's a really tightly designed, well executed game. Like, there's a lot of content there. Every single person I know that's played Pokemon ZA has over 300 hours in it. Every single one of them on my Switch friends list, all of them. I know so many people that have bought Switch 2 just to play ZA, the Nintendo Switch 2 version of it. So like, but then they'll sit there and be like, "Oh, well, this game sucks." Well, my dude, you spent 300 hours in it. Like, so right?
Destiny player.
Let me. So to kind of claw it back.
Yeah, sure.
I think that I don't think that this is going to change the perspective of Game Freak titles, right? Because we will always be able to say, "Oh, why doesn't Pokemon Gen 10?" Just throwing stuff out there.
Sure.
This is a guess, a very heavily rumored guess at this point. Gen 10, if it's made by Game Freak, by some strike team in Game Freak or whatever, if people take that and be like, oh, why isn't this Beast of Reincarnation? Well, when did Scarlet and Violet drop?
Yeah. Pretty recently.
How long has it been?
When did ZA drop?
Exactly.
Right.
So like these developers, Game Freak, I don't know off the top of my dome how many employees Game Freak has. Like I know that they get people out of college pretty frequently, and I think they also work with Ilka in terms of like their junior talent thing and stuff like that. But there's not a lot of time. Like the longer a game is in development,
this isn't accurate. I'm sorry,
What's up?
I hate to interrupt. I just looked it up, and I want to know where this comes from. But allegedly, it's like 207. Is the first number that shows up. That can't be real.
If that is the case, we can effectively shave maybe 20% to 30% of that off as leadership and finance and HR and IT.
Right.
That just seems outstandingly low as well.
It is.
Because what comes to mind is like Ubisoft is doing like a bunch of layoffs because they have 1,700 employees?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So
207 is not a lot.
So this is only adding fuel to the comparison. If people are like, why does Pokemon Gen 10 look like garbage? If it does, compared to Beast of Reincarnation. Well, we're talking about, for one, it's a entirely different publisher, so there's money involved.
Right.
Two, the development time. Like 6 years versus 2 years or less is going to be monumentally different. I don't think this is going to move the needle. I think if anything, I hope that this will change the narrative from Nintendo is pushing Game Freak to make bad games intentionally to pump them out, to Nintendo needs to give Game Freak more time because they can do better.
Yeah.
And they proved it with Beast of Reincarnation, right?
Certainly.
But again, it's a Pokemon game. And there's like this degree of not entitlement, but like the expectations are just in the stratosphere. Yeah. And some people will turn around and say, no, well, we just want better. Okay, well, that goalpost is going to move. That goalpost might as well slide on ice, because I personally think ZA looks fine. But then, Glenn, you mentioned the walls and some of the textures and the animations and stuff like that. That could be someone's hill to die on. Or maybe I don't think people have noticed that the Pokemon animations have been improving incrementally. Like all the animations for the moves look amazing, and then they can port that over to the next title. For all we know, that could be setting the quality bar. So I guess less winded answer is that I hope that the narrative shifts from Game Freak puts out bad work to Game Freak needs more resources and time to do better work.
I fully agree. I was listening to I lately have been listening to a lot of Last Stand Media's podcasts. They do four of the biggest gaming podcasts on platforms. One of them is a Nintendo podcast called Punching Up, and one of the hosts on that show is Gene Park, the journalist over the gaming side of the Washington Post, and he was on an episode of Punching Up recently before he had to leave when they were talking about ZA. They're like, listen, Game Freak makes really great ugly games. And obviously, like, that's not quite the case with like Beast of Reincarnation, but like that is just what they've kind of amassed as a reputation, and I think that's okay. Yeah, because you look at other games that are ugly but good. There's plenty of them. I'm not going to say that, like, I'm not going to fool myself into believing that, like, and this might upset some people. Terraria is one of my favorite games.
Mm-hmm.
It is outstanding, and there is a charm and style to it.
Sure, yeah.
I'm never going to compare the graphics of Terraria to something like Beast of Reincarnation, something like Ghosts of Yotei.
Absolutely.
Like they're first of all, they're apples and oranges, but like it's impossible to even like have that conversation because they're so drastically different and almost diametrically opposed.
I think you could even take like something. I think you could take something else that's like, you know, pixel graphics style and compare it to Terraria and say that there's far more good pixel graphic style games than Terraria. Yeah. Just visually stunning ones that are or ones that just do more than what Terraria does, and I think that's fine. You can enjoy a game and not worry about the graphics. That's like what you know. It's completely up to you. That's what like, you get out of the game.
Battle Block Theater is one of my favorite games. That's a deep cut. Sorry.
No. I'm very aware of that one too.
That game rocks, and it's not pretty to look at.
No,
it's like sketches and crudely drawn little guys.
Yeah,
and that's a style. But like the gameplay of that game is what holds it up.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think Ryan, you're absolutely right. Like it's people need to understand Pokemon is not going to all of a sudden like it's not going to be like infinitely better just because it looks like Expedition 33. Like what are we talking about? That's not how this works. So
I'm actually a little concerned about it with from that aspect actually. I don't know how familiar you are with it, Glenn, or you, Brian. I'm gonna maybe assume you're more familiar with it, but the so-called From Software B team that worked on Dark Souls 2 I think is maybe a good comparison to this in an inverse relationship, right? Essentially for like the listeners at home, Dark Souls release and was like met, you know, with huge not critical success, commercial success immediately, but huge cult success, and was quite popular in the years following its release, right? At the time, From Software had been under contract with Sony to work on Bloodborne. And Bloodborne was in development for quite a while. Well, they didn't want to lose the momentum of Dark Souls at the time either. So they were like, we need to put another Dark Souls game out there, right? We want to keep this success going. So they put another team, kind of like what you mentioned, like strike teams on stuff. So they put another team on Dark Souls 2, and Dark Souls 2 was met by the fan base with very mixed reactions because, and to this day, there are people who adamantly defend Dark Souls 2 as a good game, just different and a slightly different system to go with it. And yes, the graphics are weird, and yes, sometimes the world building doesn't make sense, but that's okay. And there's also people who are like adamant that the game itself is bad because it's not very well developed in a world building sense or in a graphical sense the way that Dark Souls was in comparison, just under the stylization choices. And so I kind of fear that like an inverse of that will happen with this, right? People, like you said, people are going to start looking at this now with Beast of Reincarnation, be like, oh, well, the Gamefreak team that was on this, you know, did so well, and it looks beautiful, looks amazing. Why don't we get that with Pokemon? And they're going to start clamoring for it, and then you're going to, and we've, like I said, we've already kind of been over that as the topic, but it's just, I think that that's what's going to happen with this.
Yeah. I mean, another aspect too is Unreal Engine, like Unreal Engine 5. I have worked. I can talk about this at this point because the game's out. I worked on an Unreal Engine 5 game that is on Nintendo Switch 2 right now, which is Stormlancers. That game was built with UE5, and like it runs on. We built it for Nintendo Switch originally, and then put a Nintendo Switch 2 version out, which is, by the way, humble brag, one of the first non-Nintendo games and the first Unreal Engine 5 game to support game share on Switch 2.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, so
super
really
awesome.
Cool. But also, like, I know from hands-on that getting an Unreal Engine 5 game to even just run on the Switch, the first gen Switch, it's hard. It's hard. I'm just gonna shoot straight. It's really hard,
well, I mean,
right?
Like it's for like delayed or maybe cancel altogether their Switch 2 port.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken,
they did. It's indefinitely on hold right now, as of I think last week. So like that's another factor too, is that the Pokemon games are not made on a commercially available game engine. It's not like Unity or Unreal or Godot. It's made on their own engine. So that also incurs its special time, because you need tools programmers that are engine programmers. You need rendering engineers. Like you need a whole breadth of specializations that go beyond what a normal game development team would need, right? So that's another factor for the looks, because UE5 people meme on Unreal Engine 5, you know, shader caching, whatever. Like the tools that you get out of that, like what we are seeing in Beast of Reincarnation, which is super topical, is like Lumen for lighting and Nanite for really good procedural, like foliage and stuff like that. I can't tell you how much time that actually saves the development team. It looks good because the tools enable it to look good.
That's right.
Right. So whereas like a custom engine may not have, it may, if you look at Scarlet and Violet, compare it to Sword and Shield, like there is a marked difference in visuals. Like, yes, they're trying to stretch it out from a different angle, but they've improved, like in a lot of ways. In some ways they've regressed, but that's also because it's open world and their rendering is, we'll say, not the wisest in Scarlet and Violet, to say the least. But it's improvement, because the engine is improving as time goes on. Like Gen 10, I'm super stoked for. Looking at ZA is the best lens into how far that team has gone with the games that they're making. Like we saw that with Legends Arceus as kind of like an in-between Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet. There was Legends Arceus in there, and there was a market improvement there, and then we saw the payoff in Scarlet and Violet. I've seen ZA and playing it for as long as I have. I'm super stoked, but look at us talking about Pokemon on a Pokemon podcast. Sorry,
that's good. And what's noteworthy about that? I wanted to. You touched on this briefly. Is that like, you have things like Lumen and Nanite in Unreal stuff, which if that's things that have been being made in Unreal for so long and have been like iterated upon for so long, that is artificially extending the dev time, because you don't have to hand make those tools and those assets. Like you get effectively years more, well, maybe not years, that might be dramatic, but much longer development time, because you are standing on the shoulders of the giants who created those tools.
Thanks, Fortnite.
Yeah, shout out Fortnite.
No, seriously, that's what Lumen and Nanite were made for. It was made for Fortnite. No,
that's not. I'm not memeing. I appreciate Fortnite for what it's done. Their CEO, Tim Sweeney, not a big fan of him right now, but that's unrelated.
I withhold comment.
Yes.
Fair enough. Real and reasonable. Well, it also it's important to note, Johnny, I want to get your thoughts obviously on what you had to say about this in a second. But according to Circana, at the end of 2025, Legends ZA was still the 6th best selling game. That's not including digital sales, because Nintendo does not report their digital sales to Circana.
That's kind of low-key huge on the Switch 2, considering the install base of Switch 2 right now.
I think that's not just Switch 2. I think it's Switch 1 as well.
Oh, man.
But 6th overall for the year. And everybody's like, this game's ugly and it sucks. Does it? It's not what your wallet says.
At the end of the day, people are going to buy it. I think that and maybe the best thing to do is also remember that the people who are complaining about it are ultimately I don't know. I don't
Oh,
know.
my mistake. Sorry.
They're
I
ultimately-
don't want to interrupt you. My apologies. I got that incorrect. That was for the month of December. I think it was a
Okay.
little further down, but it was still in the teens, if I'm not mistaken, for 2025. I do want
Okay.
to amend that because I don't want to put
Yeah.
incorrect information on here.
No, that's fine. I get that.
Sorry about that.
No. I think overall it's a loud minority who complains about these games, and I think that's true for a lot of games in general. You have to take it with a grain of salt when it comes to that. I don't think it's every game. Like, there's very obviously going to be just like games that are worth complaining about, you know, and things that are worth complaining about. Like, it's very obvious when a game is actually bad, right? Like, or at least not in a good place to play. I think like you know, something like Cyberpunk is is a perfect example of that. Cyberpunk on launch was horrendous, and we saw, like, it's very obvious why it was bad. But I think people are like, the people who are complaining about Cyberpunk being horrendous are not in the same volume as the people who are here saying, well, the walls are flat, it's just textures for the doors and the balconies. Like, dude, I don't care. I'm not playing this game staring at the balcony. I'm playing this game staring at a Pokemon. Like, like, at the end of the day, like, if you are worrying more about that and less about like what the focal point of the gameplay is, then maybe there's something to be said about where your priorities are as a person who is playing, or maybe even not playing. Maybe it's just people who complain because they just want to complain. Unfortunately, the world's full of people like that. I mean, we have this podcast after all.
That's true. That's us, baby.
I mean, so like, but on the other side of that coin, I also want to give a bone to the people on the other side of the aisle, I guess, because we also have to take a step back and remember that Pokemon is the highest grossing multimedia franchise in the world, period. More than Disney, more than anything else,
which is crazy.
It's Pokemon. It is the king. It always has been. So, and I get this all the time when I'm like, hey, like, let's take a step back and cool off of the developers, and the first response always is, well, they make all this money. Well, okay, sure, but they make this money because they have an aggressive release cadence. And at throwing more money at the problem to get more developers or artists on doesn't exactly always solve the problem.
Right.
And in some cases, it makes it a lot worse, because for every dozen or so people that you add to a team, and I think I may have even said this on the podcast before, I can't remember, every like a dozen or so people that you add, that's a dozen or so more people that you have to manage. And not just the people, the workload, the output. You have to make sure that they're all on task. They're on the right path. What happens if the game design shifts? You now have to realign that many more people. It's an exponentially, it's just a growing problem. I think that because Pokemon grosses so much money, they can afford to take their time. And in fact, they kind of have been at this point. We have not seen hide nor tail of Pokemon Champions at all.
That's right.
We have been drip fed at best information about it, which is fine. Take your time, Game Freak. Take your time, Nintendo. That is VGC's future right there. Right. So do it right. Take your time with it.
Please do it right.
But it's the same problem that a lot of game companies are dealing with now, is that it's investors, it's money.
And you see that with like the Black Ops 7 stuff this year. That game had a catastrophic release.
Oh my god,
for them to come out and say like, we're stopping yearly releases,
that takes a huge drop.
Yes.
But and for the audience of that game to go, thank you, is even bigger.
I think that's the more telling part right there, really, is that we had is Call of Duty is a franchise that lives and dies by yearly releases, at least for the last 2 decades now, nearly. And suddenly, we're finally hitting the point where they're not alternating developers at this point now anymore. They really aren't. And they're saying, hey, we're just going to back off, right? We're going to give everything some space. And I think that's right. That's the right move. I think that, seeing other companies do that and saying like, wait, maybe we should do this is more telling for them. Not to pull away from the conversation of Pokemon, but maybe to like put it out there that like I think that the way Pokemon, the way that Game Freak handles Pokemon, and the way that in general Pokemon is handled as a developed franchise in terms of the video games is fine. It's okay, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree. And there's going to be room to grow. Like, like I said, they're in a fortunate position to be able to afford to be able to pivot and make, like, a lot of double and AAA, even AAA now, developers can't really afford to pivot or be like, hey, we're just going to take a couple more years, guys. You know, we'll see you soon. Like
one thing I'm curious about, and I want to get both of your thoughts on this, is I'm curious to see if maybe Pokemon has maybe dug themselves into a bit of a hole with their release cadence. And what I mean by that is you look at things like the past, I mean, every like game pretty much releases almost exactly every 3 years. And it's in an ecosystem where that means more than just, oh, here's another video game for you to play. That means here's a new season, here's a new era of cards to be printed. That means here's a new series of like events for Pokemon Go. That means here's a new mechanic we have to develop for the card game. That means like it. You see what I mean here? It's more than just here's the next video game you're going to be playing with the Pokemon characters in it. It's shaping the ecosystem of the entire competitive Pokemon, and even non-competitive, just like the consumer side of Pokemon's franchising. Because before too long, people are going to get bored with those, like that new set of 100 guys. 100 to 150 or so guys. Like, we're, you know, you can only get so much of these character designs, and that's not dunking on the character designs. That's just consumers in the modern era. Is you're gonna have that little bit of burnout. You're gonna grow tired of them, and you're gonna be like, okay, when's the next one's gonna come out? Because I mean, that's kind of it's just the path that they've dug themselves into. Pokemon has dug themselves into when they got into this rhythm of, okay, every 3 years we're going to release about 100 new guys, we're going to make a new game with a new region, and we're going to have these core components to these games, and they're going to affect all this other stuff too. Brian, I want to get what you think about that.
I think that it's tough because that has worked for so long. Like, we're approaching very rapidly 30 years of Pokemon. And so that format has worked well. It worked well in the earlier days when Pokemon was this giant, like, pencil case, lunchbox juggernaut, merchandise juggernaut, I guess. And it still is to kind of a lesser extent these days, right? But it worked better for that because that was the only thing that you had to do. Like Kanto to Johto, the only difference was a new region, new Mons. You know, Ruby Sapphire, new region, new Mons, some returning. And then it just kind of progressed. The problem is that now it has become untenable to do the entirety of the franchise. And that's one of the reasons that Dexit wasn't a big problem for me personally, is like, take a step back and think about how many Pokemon there are at the time of Sword and Shield's launch. It is, I'd want to be clear that I'm not excusing Dexit. They could have technically done it, but like, I also understand why they didn't.
Something else would have suffered.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. And so, yeah, like the mega format that we're going into with Pokemon in the card game, like, I think personally, they're hedging their bets on kind of a weird spot by having the anchor point of this generation be Legends, because does this mean that Gen 10 is going to have like megas in it? Maybe not, because we had Vs, we had Vs at the beginning of the Scarlet and Violet TCG era, which was kind of weird, and then eventually kind of rotated out. So there is a world where that's kind of the on-ramp. There seems to be the pattern, is that there's like an on-ramp generation.
Yeah.
And then halfway through the block, as it were, they cut that off and move it to the side. I will laugh my head off if they have trainers that they print in a rotation that happens after that halfway point that deals with the mechanic of mega evolution and then rotate mega evolutions. That's
Shout
gonna
out
be
Choice Belt.
if they
Choice belt, Spiritomb.
So, but yeah, like I think that in a way they've dug themselves in a hole because the way games are made has changed.
Yeah.
And how they are consumed has changed.
Mm.
And Nintendo needs to change their cadence and approach. And I think that the issue with that is most companies, the marker that they use for that is units sold. But we're talking about Pokemon here. It could be the most atrocious, unforgivable, like Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. I'm going to just punch down and hit that. It could be those games both sold pretty decently, all considered, by nature of being Pokemon games. So that marker that most companies and businesses would use to determine, okay, we need to change our strategy, is never present because the games are going to sell no matter what they are. Like Pokemon Sleep and Friends.
I bought Brilliant Diamond. I played Brilliant Diamond. It's not as good as just playing Platinum, but like if you just want a basic Pokemon game, that's a 4th gen game, I guess, pick it up and mess with it like it exists. I think on the 10, there's worse video games.
People wanted a Diamond and Pearl remake. By golly, that's what they got. And like, okay, the biggest complaint is, it doesn't have all the Platinum content. Well, okay, you didn't say Platinum. You said Diamond and Pearl. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, anyway. But, now that we're talking about Platinum and third ones, this kind of, to call back to something I said earlier in the episode, the third titles in each of the generations being the most memorable and the best definitive versions of those generations is proof positive that the games need more time to bake.
Yeah.
Because those games happen at the tail end. They tack on more content to make the vision more complete. Emerald is what you remember when you think of Ruby Sapphire.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
With the exception of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but that's like that's a whole. Those are in a whole nother league of their own too. Heart Gold, Soul Silver as well.
I think we can like exclude remakes as like the point for those. But I'm absolutely in agreement, because it's like you look at like the third game, so to speak, right? And I think it won the last generation to do a third game at this point now was the 5th gen. No, the 4th gen, right? Platinum. Because
it was
we had Crystal for Gen 2, we had Emerald for Gen 3, we had Platinum for
Yellow
Gen 4,
for Gen 1.
Yeah, and Yellow for Gen 1. And then starting with Gen 5, they said, we're going to tell a new story with the same generation in the same region with some added content, added Pokemon potentially to like expand the decks, and give you kind of that new like third game approach, except now third games became fourth games essentially. So it's like game 3 and 4 with Black 2, White 2, and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, right? Yeah.
And now DLC.
And X and what did X and was there was no like third game for X and Y.
No third game.
Rumored supposed to be, but
which might be more telling about X and Y than anything else, because I guess if you want to count like the third and fourth game as like, the Ruby Sapphire remakes, but like those were almost, those were a weird situation where they kind of were both the third and fourth game and also their own remakes. I don't know. It's weird.
No,
it's
that's
weird
true. I totally agree with you in that. I think they were. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think I kind of agree. It's like they should be putting more into, the base games then, because they're coming up with these ideas, at least part of the way through development, they're adding this content in the development cycle. But then at the same time, the problem with releasing a third game, so to speak, even from the very beginning, right, with Yellow, is they started into a rhythm where now people expect it. And that starts to bite back a little bit, right? And we're now seeing with the issue with the new ones is that they've decided that they're not even going to bother with the third game. They're just going to do DLC because DLC is lucrative, because people will spend money on it, because they know that they can do that. And then people will complain, oh, well, the DLC problem exists. But then it's like, well, would you rather spend, $15 on a couple of DLCs, or would you rather spend the full price a second time or third time for, the third game, right? Like it's like, you got to think about it like that. Like, go back to like the Game Boy Advance era with Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald, right? You bought Ruby or Sapphire at like, what was it, like $30, something like that on launch?
Probably.
It's something like that. MSRP was like $30 for like most GPA games. And then when you bought Emerald, you paid another $30. Emerald wasn't discounted because there's no way for them to magically know, which games you bought before. You just went to your local Toys R Us and picked up a copy of the box. Like, you just went and got it. Now you're like, okay, well, let me spend $60 on a base game and then another $30 on 2 DLC or something like that, or 3 DLC, and get all the extra content. And I think the DLC stuff is more of an issue of like what we've seen with other games and other companies do, than it's an issue for Pokemon. But people want to attribute those issues to Game Freak, and I think are expecting maybe this standard of something different from them because of the past actions, and because they're like trying to hold Game Freak and Pokemon in general to a higher standard as the company that they are.
I think that it's valid, right? Like, I think from a business standpoint, a third game, we're just going to call it the third game. A third game economically doesn't make sense, especially with titles being $70 going forward. And like, if you count, I count Legends ZA as a MSRP $70 title, because you have to pay for the Switch 2 upgrade. Which game plus that is that, and that's kind of what's going forward, I think. It is a harder sell to be like, hey, we added like some really cool cutscenes and like 10 more Pokemon, like, you want to buy the game again? Like, it's not gonna fly. It's really not. I would, I am not going to go to bat for the Legends ZA DLC. I do not think that it is worth $30. I think that the amount of content that you get out of Mega Dimensions is not equivalent with the price tag. But that is a ramble topic for me, and I will not get into it.
All right.
So y'all can if you want to, but I'll abscond. Anyway, okay. It was a good question, Glenn. Like, I think that Pokemon is shifting. It is clear to me that Nintendo is shifting how they're managing the game release cadence, the quality bar. Like, they need voice acting.
They have to have voice
There's
acting.
no excuse. Dude, I'm going to harp on it till the cows come home. You cannot sit there and tell me that they did not at some point have a boardroom discussion. There are 2 different types of cutscenes in ZA. Like, there are lip flaps, dude. Where is it? Nintendo? Oh, gosh.
And the worst is there's like Foley for them too. There's like leather flapping in the background.
It's all there. And then, like, okay, some people are like, oh, well, there's a ton of languages that Pokemon are in. Okay, well, it's the biggest grossing franchise on the planet. Like, it's ooh.
No, you're so right.
And it's not like any voice actor on the planet would give a tiny discount to their day rate to work on a Pokemon game. Okay, like, it's just even my kid agrees. Like, it's anyway. Sorry, didn't mean to get heated there.
No, that's so fine. I'm right there with you. I am in agreement. Like, I've long held that like Pokemon needs voice acting or just something to like to set it aside, because what's happened is you have largely the same game nowadays as you had playing the GBA.
Yeah,
sure. There's a little more texture to it. Like you're getting more. Like you have an open world now, which by the way was a terrible decision. I think you should go back to the linear stuff.
That's not like Sun and Moon linear. Let's not go back to the island hallways, please.
I don't have an opinion on that. My copy of Sun and Moon got stolen before I could play it.
Oh, well, you didn't really miss much, but
I've heard they're very good. I have a fondness for them. But like like you regard the point I'm getting at is like you could effectively have played like you're playing the same game barring the new gameplay changes, where it's just like go to an area, catch a guy, go to an area, catch a guy. And like the way that the game is played has not changed very much.
No.
And maybe that's a poor way of stating it. What I mean by that is like the
like a game mechanic wise.
No, that's not what I'm saying, because like mechanics have changed and iterated.
Yeah,
that's kind of why I think I spoke maybe incorrectly. But what I'm getting at is like, here's what I'm saying. The last big change to the way that you perceive and interact with the story of what's going on in the world that's going on, like the last big noteworthy shift in that was, in my opinion, probably Gen 5, which turns 15 this year. Which, and what I mean by that is like you got like your cutscenes had like new stuff where like the text was changing. You got these cinematic. I think of what's the New York City in Gen 5? I forget.
Was it Lumios? No.
Is it Lumios?
Is that the no, that's the X and Y one, isn't it?
No, that is Gen Lumios. Is it I'm trying to remember. Oh gosh. I totally forget. Are you pulling that up? But anyways, in that city that you're walking down the street, you've got people like little blurbs of text as they're passing by. You've got like I remember it was revolutionary. The cutscene that takes up both screens. You've got
yes.
It's like a big shift in like the cinema of the Pokemon games, and we haven't had like a major foundational upgrade to the way that like the cinema of Pokemon works outside of transferring to 3D. Yeah, it
Castelia, that's the one.
Castelia, okay, that's right.
Castelia, yes.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of like my thing is like we should be moving along from that. Like we should really be iterating, like give it more time in the oven. I feel like we've been saying this the whole time. Give it more time in the oven. Give us voice acting. Give us fewer Pokemon, frankly.
Really? Wow.
I have I don't want to like cut you off, but I do have a good comparison actually for this.
Please do.
Okay. So there's another franchise. It's a Nintendo owned franchise, not Gamefreak published or not developed or published by Gamefreak, but it is Nintendo owned. It's actually developed by Intelligent Systems, and their first foray into voice acting was a little over a decade ago now, actually, and it is the Fire Emblem franchise.
Oh yes, I remember that.
With what was it, Awakening?
Yep,
and
Awakening.
I'd like to point out. Let me see. I will get these voice actors.
That demo on my 3DS.
If you haven't played the game, I would sincerely recommend it still, just because it's got just has an absolutely fantastic story in my opinion, for like I think one of the biggest kind of reboots to the Fire Emblem franchise that's ever existed, right? Because before that, like the last big Fire Emblem games were the Radiant series, Path Radiance and Radiant Dawn, which were GameCube games and a little more cult classic-y. I feel like if you're a Fire Emblem fan, you've definitely played those ones. If you're not a Fire Emblem fan, you probably haven't touched those at all. But if you're not a Fire Emblem fan, you probably have touched Awakening in some capacity. I think that's kind of more telling of like what Awakening is. Anyway, my point simply is Awakening is a game that came out and revolutionized Fire Emblem in the sense because it brought all this voice acting in. The main Prince character, Chrom, is voiced by Matthew Mercer, who is
wow, I forgot about that.
Like he is the dude. He is the dude when it comes to voice acting. Like you want the classic Texas voice actor accent, as Matthew Mercer right there. Like, and I'm just like, it's so many big names in the voice acting realm. You've got Matthew Mercer, David Vincent, Kate Higgins, Laura Bailey, you know, like these are like huge names. And these are like, my point with that is like Pokemon needs to bring that in, because you can put people on like the bit characters still and also have them do main characters. But the big thing behind voice acting and putting voice acting in the games, right, is you can create recognizable characters. You create tie-ins to other games when you create recognizable characters.
Yeah.
You can bring people around. You also create investment to it. There's a certain level of like, you know, fan for a video game or an anime or something like that who is like, I'm one of those people who's like, oh, I like watching these things, not just for like the content, but also for the fact that I can like, if I can pinpoint a voice actor in something, I'm like, oh, I know that guy. That's so cool. And it's like, I like to like look at those roles because of that. I think that that's where they really are, losing out on a lot of a lot of like star power in a sense, because they aren't bringing those in. And then it's so crazy to me when they don't do that, because like we have like Pokemon Masters, the mobile game, which does bring voice actors in. And there's actually some pretty notable voice actors in Pokemon Masters. If you like go look at like the charts, I mean, it's like they only get them in for like a couple of voice lines to throw in here and there, but that's more the point, that it's like why are we not doing this with our main games? You know? Put more time on that.
I wonder if part of it is because the mainline Pokemon games are kind of like the North Star flagship of the franchise, and they want to maybe avoid a situation like Hoyoverse has to deal with occasionally, where there's a controversial thing that happens with one of their voice actors, and then for a franchise targeting a child, like younger audiences effectively, like if a voice actor goes and fires off some really spicy tweets, like they don't want to have them associated with them and then have to bring them in and then take time away, because they don't like, once the game's out, they very rarely patch the games. So like we saw that with Scarlet and Violet, where we desperately needed patches throughout the life cycle of that game. We just never got them. So they, to do that and like have to recast an actor, and then if that actor is in multiple games, because that character is in multiple games, now they have to go through even more. So like, maybe that could be a factor. Well, I don't know, but like also localization is a huge part of it, because this game, like Pokemon's localized in a ton of, like, you see it every time you start a Pokemon title up. Pick your language. Like, you have to think that every single one of those languages, like the entirety of the game is that language.
That's true.
But also, highest grossing franchise on the planet. It's a real tough situation you find themselves in. I think all of it could be remedied by taking a hit to a different part of the game and trying something new. Which is what I was saying earlier with like less Pokemon. And that's just an idea. I don't earnestly want fewer Pokemon. I think like they're cool, but also we have 1,000 of those guys. Let's take it easy. Let's pump the brakes. Let's give ourselves like a 4-year dev cycle, maybe 3 or 4 years of a dev cycle. Get voice acting in, get everything localized, get everything running at 60 frames, get good textures. Because like I understand, Johnny, where you're coming from with the walls thing. I think that those were particularly egregious. Like one I just can't abide. Like I'll suffer no foolishness on that one.
No, and that's fine. I will absolutely defend the most egregious thing there, just in the sense that like, if it's the most egregious and you can turn a blind eye to that, then there's truly nothing wrong. And if you can't, I get it.
It's not that I can't turn a blind eye. What I'm saying is like, that's egregious. I think the ideal is let's pump the brakes. Let's get everything worked out so that we can have, we can look like the best-selling franchise on the planet, man. You look at something like Disney is a good example. They just recently, I think 2 years ago now, dropped Epic Mickey Rebrushed, which is a remaster of a classic 2000, was it 2007?
Something like that. It's definitely an older game.
One of my favorite games. But like it's 2010. Wow. That's surprising. But like they overhauled it, and like obviously apples to oranges. This is a remake, but like Epic, like Disney isn't pulling punches on their graphics or their gameplay, and it's not 1-to-1. But like there's plenty of like gaming giants,
right,
and franchise giants that aren't pulling punches in these areas. Now maybe they're not as deeply interconnected, maybe they don't have the same like sensibilities about, like Brian, what you said with voice actors whiling out. But I mean, you can replace a voice actor. I think of Lance Reddick's passing in recent history. Like, I was listening to his voice for a decade.
right.
And if you're careful with your casting and choose to use your money wisely, like Bungie did, and they got Keith David, which, by the way, Keith David in a Pokemon game when you can still evoke a really good character. You can create a really good character. You can I can brush away the fact that like Zavala doesn't sound the same anymore, but he still sounds excellent, and his character is the same. So like I can move past the fact that the voice is a little different. And also there's so many talented voice actors. Like the fact that Troy Baker sounded so close to Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is mind-boggling to me.
It is.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I don't know. All in all, I think we could all stand for 4-year dev cycle. Just like let Pokemon really be great again. Oh god, I hate to use that.
I mean,
as a phrase, but
it's not like Pokemon's gonna fall out of favor, right? Like it's got staying power.
Yeah.
That there's the trading card game. There's all the like cool side projects. Like Pokemon Sleep could carry that franchise. That's a joke.
Truly.
I don't think that it would, but like maybe they have so many things that they could do, and I think that if they really want to stick to an aggressive cycle, they need to trust another studio with their franchise.
Yeah.
Need to. But the problem with that is that Pokemon is a joint owned venture. It's predominantly owned by Nintendo, but it is a joint venture between Gamefreak, Creatures, and Nintendo, with Nintendo being majority owner. So like that's not necessarily like you can't just be like, oh, we'll just ship it off to like 2K. They'll make something, whatever. It's
do not let 2K
no.
But like,
oh no,
that's not something that Japanese developers are usually want to do. They're usually very protective of their franchises. They keep them in the house and they foster them and nurture them, and that is fine. But I think if they want to stay more aggressive for financial reasons for their shareholders, then I think them going with Ilka for their remakes was a great first step. And I just wish it was better received, and that the studio. I wish Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl better, but but in seriousness, like I don't know, they've got options, is what I'm trying to say. And the Pokemon community will be patient. Like they will still sell out of EV plushies when they put them out, and the trading card game will always be scalped to heck and back. And
that's true.
Like it is Pokemon, for Pete's sake.
You can print any Pokemon on some cardboard and some plushies, and you'll make billions of dollars. So yeah. All right. Well, this has been a great discussion. Brian, I understand that you have kind of a hard out here coming up, and sounds like Rami's getting a little fussy, and you're welcome. I understand you got to go. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate you coming on, especially on such short notice, to come on and talk with us about games. Obviously, this is a Pokemon podcast, and it's a particularly special to talk about Pokemon, but we all love games as well, and gaming is a big part of what this show is. So thank you for your insight, your interesting takes. Very grateful to have you around. Anything you want to say before you go?
Stay tuned. The company I work for is putting out some pretty cool stuff, Problem Monsters, pretty soon. So keep your eye on stuff coming out of that house pretty soon. And yeah, thank you. It's always a good time when I get a chance to chat with you and Johnny, like I'll any day of the week. I feel like it's been forever since I've seen you in person as well, so we got to hang out at some point.
Too long,
but
we'll arrange that.
Yeah, for sure. It's been great. I'm pretty much just working on that now. Playing a lot of universes. That's been fun. And so you'll catch me at Mighty Meeple every so often when we're not getting iced out. But yeah. So
all right.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Be well. And I'll see you next time, buddy. See ya.
Bye.
Yep. Take it easy.
Goodbye, Brian. Okay, we're back. Now when we left off, I believe we were just about to get into the news. We kind of exhausted our topics for discussion, really. There's not a lot going on. And likewise with the news, there's really not much going on this week. I think we missed a couple of things last week, but they're not really relevant anymore. There's a lot of regional registrations opening. So keep an eye out. You're going to Orlando, is that correct?
I am. I got into Orlando's signups. I actually completely lost track of time and like looked at the clock at like 8:04, 8:05, and I was like, oh, those went live like an hour ago. I was like, oh no, surely it's filled. And I like logged in to logged into RK9 and it was fine. There was still slots. So I was like, oh, thank God. So
nice.
Yeah, planning to go to Orlando. Still working out the travel for it, but planning to either stay with a friend or get like a hotel near him so that we can, do that and then probably do Disney for like a few days afterwards.
Oh, that'd be fun. I don't think about it very often, but I'm a bigger Disney fan than I realize.
It's, you know what, it's one of those things where like I didn't really ever go a lot as a kid. I went a couple of times, but it's kind of grown on me because my wife is a Disney fan, and
nice.
It's just one of those things like you start going, and then like it's also my friend who we're gonna be that I'm gonna be going there, and he's gonna be doing his first regional ever, and kind of like one of his first real big Pokemon events. So
is this the guy I had on the bonus?
Yes, Jake. Yeah.
Jake, that's right. Oh, he was on the main episode. Well,
yeah. So it'll be kind of cool. But he also works for Disney as well. So we kind of get the benefit of getting like some free park tickets out of it too. Nice. So yeah, exciting.
Well,
shameless shout out.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the news. This is obviously coming to us from Poke Beach. Because not much else is happening. I suppose I'll spit this out at the front. We'll get this out of the way with. There is a 7-star Terra Typhlosion raid in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I don't have much to say about that. If you want to go see that, if you want that, go for it.
Yep.
I'm not really sure what else. I should probably get the dates for it at least. It was last featured in April of 2023, and it should run. Oh, it's live from yesterday through the 12th. So by the time you hear this on free feeds, you'll still be able to get it. So check this out.
The last day, in fact.
Yeah, it'll have the. You better get cracking. It's got the mightiest mark. Has perfect IVs. Noteworthy.
I guess if you need a perfect IV Typhlosion.
Yeah, if you need a perfect IV Typhlosion for some reason, go pick that up. But aside from that,
the only other things I think is there's 2 regionals going on this weekend as well. There's Sydney and I believe Santiago. I think that's right. Unfortunately, both are not really viewable unless you have like stream access to those, which I think like they might be being restreamed by people like Azul or others, but there's no like official Pokemon stream for those, and the data comes out a little bit slower for those ones because of that. So even with Sydney being like well ahead of us in time, so there's really not much news about those, unfortunately. So maybe next time we'll have some topic about those. Who knows? Yeah,
it's been a while since we did a regional recap. We'll have to schedule one of those soon so that we can like plan it well ahead of time. We definitely have to cover like EYC after it happens.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next up, Pokemon Day 2026 and some general 30th anniversary stuff. Well, let's start with the predecessor, right? So this year is the 30th anniversary for Pokemon, and so according to PokeBeach, a place we cite constantly, Pokemon Center TCG accessories have been revealed for the 30th anniversary, and a Super Bowl has been announced. Huh. Sorry, not just a Super Bowl commercial. Believe it or not, there is a Super Bowl happening for football. It is the biggest sport in America. And Pokemon is actually going to be doing a commercial, it seems, which is surprising because they aren't normally into like promoting in that way, I don't think. But
No.
I don't know, man. It's noteworthy. I'm curious as to what it'll be. If it'll be like an announcement like we have at the end of ICs, or if it'll just be like, hey, Pokemon's 30th anniversary is here, buy packs.
Yeah, it says here there was some sort of teaser trailer involving Jigglypuff in it looks like recording studio. On a
Oh my gosh, are we gonna have the first halftime show in history, or the first Super Bowl in history with 3 halftime shows?
Right. Jigglypuff halftime show.
Everybody's getting one now, so we might as well.
I don't know. It's cool, I guess, right? But they haven't done this. It's kind of interesting, worth noting, right? They did this for the 20th anniversary in 2016, but they didn't do it for the 25th anniversary, which I don't know. I feel like almost like the 25th, they made a bigger deal out of the 25th with stuff like celebrations packs and things like that, you know? So it's kind of interesting that they're not doing that this time around. But, you know, it's... I don't know. It is what it is with that, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say so. There's not much else to say about that.
Yeah.
We could talk about the oh, excuse me. My voice is a little raspy. You can tell I'm feeling under the weather. There's all this 30th anniversary merch.
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, if you
let me not poison the well with my thoughts. I would like to hear your opinions on this merchandise.
It's fine. You know, it's fine. Let's take the 30th anniversary logo and slap it on some stuff, you know.
This is very Twitch streamer gets their first logo.
Yeah.
And uses like the baked in merchandise in like Streamlabs to like, oh yeah, let's just put our logo on everything. They've got like,
it feels cheap.
So there's gonna be a double deck box. There's gonna be card sleeves. There's gonna be a pin, like an enamel pin, a black sweatshirt, a black cropped sweatshirt, a lanyard and pin, an insulated tumbler, a black t-shirt, a flat bill hat, a teal t-shirt, a navy tank top, stemless wine glasses.
There's just stemless glasses. They can't say wine.
Sorry. We should get those for the show, actually, for Booze and Battle. That'd be kind of sick.
Yeah, that'd actually be fun.
And then like a spiral bound notebook and an ornament, I guess. I hope I'm not clipping. My mic looks like it might be. But yeah, this looks like slop.
Yeah. I think
bad.
I scrolled through the comments on here, and I think the comments do a good job. Like the first few comments just do such a good job of reflecting like a good sentiment over these in general. Like someone said ugly, right? I think that's all you need to say. Ugly. Yep. Copy paste, finished in 5 minutes. Yep. This is disappointing. Even the lanyard at best is a 6 out of 10. Yep.
Yeah, man.
Uninspired corporate slop. That's the name of the game, baby. it's just
of all, why are we releasing an ornament?
Right? This is barely an. I'm screen sharing for this one, man. I'm screen sharing for this one.
By all means, please do.
Oh
it's
god,
really bad. The ornament looks ugly. This is
barely an ornament. This is barely an ornament. This is a car air freshener. Come on now.
Now that I'd be interested in buying. I need a car freshener that smells like Pikachu.
Oh my
Give me a
goodness. This is
Vaporeon
just
car air freshener.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh man. We're just
I do think the
yeah.
tumbler looks kind of nice, actually.
I mean, it's cool, right?
It's fine.
It's fine. I'm pretty sure this is just like anodized, like airbrushed metal.
Yeah.
Right? And like they just airbrush the decal. Like at the very least, it's not like a vinyl decal that's gonna peel off after like, you know, a wash through your dishwasher accidentally or something like that. You know, like this is actually like going to survive a good bit of time. Like I don't know if that's the best thing I can say about all of this, then cool, I guess. But just I genuinely think like the best thing that's honestly like they've shown really is like the deck box and the sleeves just look kind of cool. And this like I guess
they look fine.
No, you're right. They look fine. This is like PTCG Live. I paid, you know, some credits to get a deck box and sleeves.
Yeah, the deck box and the sleeves have the exact same logo. I don't know.
Right.
I'm unimpressed. Whatever. We're back to the portion of the show where Johnny and I just complain about everything.
Yeah. Let me get a code card and scan this into live real quick so I can have this on my, like, you know, 139th deck. No, of course not.
What a ripoff. What a scam.
There's no world that ever happens. Yeah, just... And teal, for some reason.
Sure.
Teal?
Why
I don't
not?
know. I don't know why. Like, they're like black, but they decided navy and teal.
Whatever. Nothing matters. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, this is just oh my god. It just feels lazy. It just feels tired and lazy and boring.
It's so strange because they just had the really cool regional merch line.
Right? Oh man, can we pull that up? Let me see if I can find that.
Yeah. See if you're able to pull that up real quick. If you're not, that's fine too. I don't know. I'm disappointed with this merchandise. I probably won't buy any of it. At most, I'll get like a set of the wine glasses. Sorry, the stemless glasses. And we'll use those for booze and battle, and it'll be fun. But
if I can find the,
I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's fine. We went over that when the episode when that stuff went live. So
this just to at least a visual to refresh everyone.
Yeah,
like
if you're watching the video version, this is what we got previously.
Yeah, just some of this.
No bag. I've realized recently I am a bag and shoes guy.
There's a crossbody.
No. What I'm talking about is there's no 30th anniversary bag.
Oh yeah. No 30th anniversary bag. Yeah, they like put so much into like this, and I guess like maybe I think like the complaint boils down to right like. This is like regional stuff. This is stuff that's like being heavily marketed towards, you know, the player base, right? Like the average consumer for Pokemon is not showing up with a guest pass at a regional. Really and truly, the average consumer isn't. At most, like the slightly above average consumer who is aware of regionals and visits them to see maybe what kind of like merchandise exists at them and what kind of like vendors are tabling, like they might know, right? But the average Pokemon fan is not, which just it just comes down to like, you know, why are they putting more effort into that and less into something that's supposed to hallmark their 30th anniversary? And
maybe it's just that the 30th anniversary stuff is cheaper to make, and because it's more mass marketable and it's cheaper to make, they're just gonna scrape even more profits out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's
probably it.
I don't know.
That's probably
whatever. This merch is boring. I'll maybe get the glasses, but that's all I gotta say about it. Something that is exciting though, also coming to us from Pokebeach, Pokemon Day 2026 prizes revealed for Pokemon Leagues includes exclusive Bulbasaur promo. As you know, if every year there is a Pokemon Day event for Pokemon like TCG products and stuff. You'll get prize support, and this one will actually include this very special. Yes, Johnny, you've got it pulled up. Bulbasaur promo with the league stamp in the background. I'm glad we went back to this instead of having the little like that logo just on the side, like a regular stamp. I like having that in the background. It's a good method of stamping. I like it.
Well, I think they're doing that specifically for like league stuff for special like this, like Pokemon Day, and like
that would make sense.
And like the the Dracloaks over the summer, I believe there was another one.
The Dracloaks, the Glass Trumpet, the Festival Grounds, and Super Rod, I believe, got one. Night Stretcher, I believe, might have gotten one. Buddy Poffin got one.
Yeah, Rescue Board Rescue Board got one. I remember Rescue Board got one.
And the Spiritomb for Pokeween.
Yep.
That was allegedly crazy expensive.
I need another one of those Dracloaks. I'm on 3 of those. I just need one more.
Oh, I might have one that I can just give you. I'm pretty sure I got like 7 of those.
Nice.
Dude, I'm like promo is now like a $10 card. What is happening?
That's crazy. It's because it was a Halloween promo.
I guess so. Right place, right time.
I don't know. But, all right. Yeah, this is cool.
There's some cool prizing for that. There's more stuff happening also where what was it? It seems we're getting like a unique box and we didn't cover this when it first came out, but there's like a Pokemon Day 2026 box set you can get that I'm sure will be like a prize out only type of thing, or maybe you can buy it. I don't know. But it'll come with an exclusive Pikachu promo, a Pokemon Day 2026 coin, and a couple packs. This will probably retail for like $15.
Yeah,
maybe 20.
Yeah. Looks like they're doing 3 packs, so that's probably like this is probably like a $15 sort of deal. This is basically like just like a fancier box for a 3-pack blister, more or less. You know, so 15, maybe 20 sounds about right, depending on like pricing and everything. Worth noting, I think someone mentioned, and like I don't know if this is like credible or not, but I think someone mentioned like in the local GCP Discord that stuff like this Venusaur premium collection and the Phantasmal Flames ETB are being like given to stores for Pokemon Day for prize out options, which is really cool. I think. Yeah, I mean, get first place at your store, and I guess get Phantasmal Flames ETB. That's pretty cool. That's worth something. That's actually like a really cool prize out, especially because most of the time, like a lot of Pokemon Day tournaments tend to be at like a pretty standard like league rate, or like like even like free joining, just because like this stuff is given to the stores specifically for prize out. So it's not like the stores are losing stock over this kind of stuff, or putting like the expense of like covering pricing for this stuff. So super noteworthy.
I think it's interesting. It'll be cool. I wonder what this Sylveon promo is worth now, because like obviously we don't have an article from Corbin Hostler this week. Honestly, thankfully. So I'm curious. Let me look this up, because sometimes these promos are worth holding on to. Obviously, the Spiritomb one panned out really well. And so I'm curious to know if what's up?
I wanted to point something out here. I just realized. These are Prize Pack Series 4, by the way, being given to the stores to pass out for like to give away at their discretion.
Now that's curious.
That's kind of, I mean, what it means is they've got like backstock of that stuff, but we're at the point where like places can now like for people who don't necessarily know, stores are not allowed to sell prize packs until they're 3 series ahead, basically. So right now stores are on Series 8, which means that they can start selling Series 5 right now. As an actual product, they can sell that to consumers if they have any. Most of them don't. Most of them actually try to get, at most stores that I've been to, will try actively to get rid of as much of their prize packs as possible before, well before that rolls around. So that means that, like, if this stuff, the Series 4 are being passed to the stores to give away, that means that there's a good backlog of this stuff, at least somewhere, right? Which is kind of interesting. Also, like, Series 4 is just like one of the best prize pack series out there.
Yeah, truly.
Like, this had some really, really cool stuff in it. It's unfortunate that most of that is not going to be playable now. But in terms of just like having like league stamped, like cool league stamp stuff, this was like the prize pack.
Yeah, definitely. I miss Series 4. I miss it every day.
Also, like, one of the only ones I think that you can get like league stamped Vs and V stars. So, yeah.
I still need to hunt for Palkia V-Star league stamped.
Well,
and V.
Pop in for Pokemon Day somewhere, and you might be able to do that.
Hey, I think you're right. Excellent. I guess use the event locator on Pokemon.com to find a participating league near you. I don't really have anything else to say about this. This is, hold on to your promos, have fun.
Good luck to people going to Pokemon Day, I guess. Hopefully your stores are doing some cool stuff. I know, like, Rally Squirrel always makes a fun day out of Pokemon Day. They'll usually like throw the anime up on like a TV, and just they try to get like people out as much as possible with like trade events and stuff like that, and like I think super sales on like a few things. That's what they did last year, I know. So, cool stuff. I think that's actually how I got that Gyarados double deck box, or the Magikarp double deck box.
Actually. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
cool.
That's why it's fun.
Well, excuse me. I'm sorry. Anything else to say about that, or do you want to move on to what we're playing?
No, that's about it. Yeah, I think we're good to go on to what we're playing.
Sweet. Let's get into this. Johnny, I want to hear what you have to say, because one of these is on my list as well, but I didn't mention it.
Yeah.
So let's hear from you on what you're playing.
Sorry,
so right now.
I am still on Dragapult. I've been working on kind of just running through lines on it in general. It's been a lot of fun to like kind of sit down and try to explain it to, because I've been talking with Jake about it, basically, since Jake is not super familiar with a lot of like local play in his area in general, and hasn't like picked up a deck formally yet, which is why Orlando's going to be an interesting experience with him. But because of that, I was like, you know what, let's get him onto something that's like, what's like the easiest deck to play right now. And it's like we talked about recently, Dragapult is like the lowest skill floor deck. At the end of the day, I can give someone a Dragapult 60 and say, all right, make sure you get Badoo out as soon as possible, go second, Itchy Pollen as often as possible while you set up behind that,
and never
just draw cards. Never Nest Ball for Hawlucha, which, now I will say in the build that I'm working on right now, you don't have to worry about that because there's no Nest Balls. I'm on a no Nest Ball list. I'm actually because so that's the other thing is I'm doing this all out live right now, and because live is playing under Ascended format, even though regionals won't be for another like month, I think. Because of that, I don't mind it personally, because Orlando is going to be like the last regional in Ascended format. And as a result, Dragapult is just going to be, Dragapult's just going to be insanely good. We're going to have Pokepad, which is just, to me, is just a better Nest Ball, honestly. Pokepad is just a better Nest Ball, and I would rather still leave like the Ultra Balls in there for, getting out dudes that Pokepad can't get. I know it sounds like a little weird because it's like, well, you're discarding cards, but I think, and even with like, the big guys in that being like big basics, I think you want the Ultra Balls more for the chance of getting, a Pult or a Loke when you can't find them otherwise. Ultra Ball is just a better way to get it. Ultra Ball doubles your chances of getting Lokes compared to just like Nest Ball and Pad, and it also increases your chances of getting Pults. So Even with like, I think I'm running the Hilda in there. I did try out the recommendation to cut Brock's, and it has really not changed much. It just kind of streamlines into easier bosses. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, seems good.
I'm not sure 100% about cutting Brock's for like a tournament where there might be a lot of pull, but I do like the idea of cutting it to just streamline. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing though, is just kind of explaining the deck to him and figuring out kind of an optimal 60, or at least what I think like an optimal 60 will be. So
Sure.
outside of that, introduced him a little to Miraidon, but at the same time, I'm like, if he wants to like keep playing Pokemon after this regional, Miraidon's like a terrible deck to give someone, because I'm like, here you go, here's a deck that you're going to play for exactly 1 weekend and then never touch again, because most of these cards that make this deck good are rotating. But that said, like Miraidon, I think would also be like an insane meta call for Orlando. The deck absolutely was. I see. Joltik Box is not bad, but I think Joltik Box takes a lot more meta knowledge that I think Miraidon doesn't take, right? Miraidon, because I don't know, Joltik Box, you have to do the same with Miraidon. You have to know, okay, am I going to go up against a big guy or a little guy? So do I set up Pikachu or do I set up Iron Hands? The problem is that like you have to play around the issues with Pikachu, like getting, Monkey Dory damage countered onto it into like a swing when a Pikachu is not set up yet,
right?
And losing out on prizes and stuff like that because of that. Whereas like I think Miraidon, it's lower HP, but Miraidon running with like Magnetons just gets to go fast and do stuff that it wants to do early. Also, the fact that like that deck is a turbo deck that goes first means it outpaces stuff like Joltik Box a lot better in that sense. So I think the only downside is like it has kind of ironically a terrible matchup into Joltik Box because of what Joltik Box runs that Miraidon usually can't handle, unfortunately, because the Pikachu is like, difficult to KO, and the hands is just outside of Miraidon's Photon Blast range. So a little unfortunate. But it's still an absolutely insane deck. I think right now, just it's a good meta call. So been playing those two, trying to figure that out. And then we ran through, because Miraidon reminds me a little bit of it in a sense, at least the way that I was originally looking at it. This is a new kind of mega Deancey list that I know you and James were messing around with. And I don't know, I've got thoughts on it. I think it's very like high roll reliant in a way that maybe doesn't feel so great right now. I don't know if that gets better in a format where stuff slows down after rotation, or if that gets better because after rotation Psychic is going to be insanely good if it has a chance to like set up properly, like in that sense where it's like Psychic is always going to be insanely good after rotation because fighting is going to be insanely good after rotation,
right?
And as long as you can take big KOs on Mega Lucario after rotation, you'll have a good time with it. And the fact is that the Mega Deancey deck is able to set up easy swings into both Holt and Lucario, which like I don't have it in front of me, but like off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure those right now are making up like 25 to 30% of like the meta in Japan right now. Jeez. Which is it's kind of crazy how good those are doing right now. I think, let me see if I can like scroll around and find that, but I think I think genuinely like they're doing a crazy amount of work. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. Looking at a graph someone posted in the Discord, and this is from like, is this a week ago? Yeah, this is like a week old. It's for Japanese city leagues, which is like, maybe take that with a grain of salt, but Japanese city leagues right now are about 30% Mega Lucario and Dragapult.
Wow.
Mega Lucario at 18.9% play rate and Dragapult at 16.2%. Oh, and sorry, no, this isn't play rate. This is top 4. My bad. That's top 4. So play rate's higher.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, that is an absurd metagame right there.
Mm-hmm.
That is specifically an absurd metagame that gets bodied by psychic types, and just the fact that Gardevoir doesn't exist anymore means that, like, if you can find a psychic deck like the DNC deck, you probably have a good chance into. I mean, you have a good chance into 30% of the meta. So
yeah.
So it seems like a fun deck. I don't know. I feel like it needs to get some kinks ironed out for it. I'm just not sure how that's happening exactly.
I think it's a fine deck. I don't think it's a serious contender for a good deck, but it is a lot of fun to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's why I like
for
it.
Sure.
So I've been playing the Mega Diancie deck. It's been a lot of fun. It reminds me of Turbo Dark from like the Astral Radiance days.
Yeah,
it's good. It's a fun deck. But I've also just not been playing a whole ton of Pokemon. Been playing a little bit of Zoroark Control. Just trying to get still get used to Zoroark and how it plays. I've been mostly just playing video games lately. Still, I've been playing.
Totally understandable.
Skyrim on my Switch, dude. I'm convinced Skyrim is the best way to on the Switch or a handheld is the best way to play Skyrim.
I have a feeling just like playing anything on the Switch is just good. Like playing anything in like a handheld format like that is fun.
I think we all understand that peak gaming was when we had like the GBA or the DS in our pocket.
It truly was. Yeah, it's I totally don't blame you for liking that, because it's just like,
yeah,
sometimes you just don't want to sit on a sofa or in your desk chair. And
I hate playing games in the chair.
Do that.
It's rough. And then when I'm on the couch, the TV's so far away because I have a pretty small TV that I'm squinting real hard to try and see anything. It's like, this isn't even worth it, man.
Yeah.
But then I just bought Nicole a charger for her DS that we found in storage. So nice. We're gonna get into there. She's gonna play some Nintendogs. I'm gonna get back into my save on Pokemon Pearl. And what's the other one I have? I have a second. Oh no, that one's 3DS only. I have Alpha Sapphire that I'll need to get a 3DS for.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Listeners, if you have the hookup for a 3DS, let me know. But
that sounds so fun.
I'm stoked about it. It'll be really cool. But I've also just been watching the Fallout TV show, trying to get caught back up. Been playing a bunch of Balatro lately. I had a really good run the other day.
Okay.
I got like a crazy score. There's a combo of jokers in the game called Photo Chad, where you use a photograph and a hanging Chad joker, and you just like re-trigger the first face card you play like a bajillion times.
That's pretty cool.
I used that to get over 100 million chips in a single hand, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It was a very good run. I definitely botched it by selling a negative joker because I thought that I would be able to just get a regular, like replace it with a regular joker for getting the negative way you need to have the extra slot.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Just been kind of separated from Pokemon for a little bit. Like I said, not Zach Terrio, a friend of the show, but my best friend Zach. He's been playing Pokemon Emerald, so I've been kind of jumping back in a little bit to my playthrough of Pokemon Emerald and my Pokemon Black playthroughs. So
yeah,
lots to do. I don't know.
What are you?
Yeah, go ahead.
What kind of team are you aiming for in Emerald? Are you like just trying to go for like best of the best, or are you like?
Oh, I have it pulled up. I can pull it up.
Trying to do something a little different on this run.
It's my old Emerald playthrough. So
okay, yeah.
let me pull it back up on my totally legit Nintendo Game Boy Advance. Oh shoot, that's not supposed to have audio. Who's on my team? Let's see. I've got an Aggron, a Crobat, a Blaziken, a Breloom, and a Zoomeril, and a Mightyena.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And I'm at the Elite
dig
Four,
that.
so
Nice.
having fun with that. I need to go back through Emerald.
Man,
Yeah.
Emerald's
Excuse me.
still such a good game. I
Yeah.
genuinely believe that, like, I don't know. I'm super biased towards the Hoenn region in general. It's just, I think it's probably my favorite region in like the Pokemon games. I don't know. I like a good beachy region.
Yeah, I like the
I think it's cool that, like, I don't know. I'm always like a big fan of like the games in general, trying, at least like the first 4 games, trying to like match like actual regions in Japan. And so like Emerald matching like Okinawa, I think is like really cool, because it's, to me at least, it seems like they get it right, you know, based on kind of the layout and everything. So I don't know, cool stuff.
Yeah, man. Cool. Well, that about does it. This has been a great episode of N21FM, a Pokemon podcast. Feeling good? We had a good time. Yeah. It was nice to have Bryan on. I'm really eager to... We've got some really good episodes coming up this month, I think. I think we'll do well, or at least like we'll have fun. I'm not totally sure of what we're gonna do as far as scheduling goes, but we will have to see exactly what happens. So
yeah,
I guess with that said, anything else to say? Any last comments, John? Goodbye to you. Appreciate your time. Yeah. Anything to say before we duck out of here?
I got nothing, man. It's been a good time.
All right, excellent. Any plans for the evening or for the weekend?
Ooh, I think tomorrow we're gonna just take it easy. Kind of took it easy today. Gonna take it easy tomorrow. Get some more chores done. Spending some time with Maggie tomorrow. Playing nice. And napping and whatnot. You know.
Sweet. I'm going to my parents tomorrow to have breakfast with them.
Ooh, sounds nice.
And
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, we normally do brunch after church on Sundays when we're able to. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I need to go before my throat goes all the way.
Understandable.
But yeah, thank you all out there for your support of the show, your viewership, your listening. If be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 100 subs. Be sure to leave us a review on Spotify. It helps push the show in the algorithm so that we can meet new audiences. And then what's the last step? Oh yes, patreon.com if you want early access to the show. Remember that we don't roll ads ever, and we never will. So that's kind of the trade-off, is you get to listen to a little bit of Patreon rambling. So remember $1 a month early access, the access to N21 Plus, the RSS feed access. God, I'm sorry. $5 a month is that audience participation tier, and $10 a month is your producer credit. We are out of producers because Yup It's Me's has moved on, but we bid him farewell. Take care, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you for your support in the time that you've been here. But yeah, thank you to, of course, all of our patrons, but we hope to fill all of those slots with a little more. And we need to get some questions right on the show. If you want your questions right on the show, have questions for us or any guests we have, you should pop on over to Patreon. I think it's a really good value over there. So I recommend it. I think it's a good product. And again, sorry for the recent couple of misses as far as the schedule goes, but we're still figuring out stuff in the new year, still adapting to the new rotating schedule of hosts, and I appreciate your patience and your continued support. All right. With that said, I'm going to get out of here and go rest before my throat explodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you all for watching and listening. We'll see you next time. Until then, farewell.